Hi, hello everyone. Hope you all find good. So, today I'm going to speak about ways to attract people to listen to your presentation. So, my name is Tarushi Jatisse from TESOL 9. My badge number is BED09024 and the module is Listening and Speaking in ESL. So, without any further discussions, let's move on to the points. So, in the first slide that you can see, there are 10 factors that will help you to attract the people to listen to your presentation. So, let's see what are these 10 factors. The first one is know your audience. Number 2, tell a story. Number 3, be congruent. Number 4, rhetorical questions. Number 5, use visuals. Number 6, a real object as a prop. Invite a volunteer. Number 7. And number 8, be dynamic. Number 9, confident and practice. And number 10 is smile. Alright, now we are going to discuss about the first point, know your audience. So this is a very important factor because it allows you to understand the type of the content they are going to be expecting with regards to depth and technical details. You are not possible to give the same presentation for a group of high school students while you give it to a group of CEOs because their expectations and level of understanding is completely different. So it is very important for you to dig up as much as you can that they who are your audience is which industries they work in and which positions they are generally holding. This allows you to really tailor the content and the delivery of your presentation in a way that would really make it stand it out and memorable. So, too many times people do killer presentations and they use the same thing for another group of audience but they would not like it. That is because they did not do the changes which are needed to better address the new audience. So, just because you killer in one audience doesn't mean that the same content will replicate the same reaction with each audiences. Right. So the second factor is you have a story to tell. So the difference between an average presentation that people zone out of and a great presentation keeps them engaged is the way you convey the information to your audience. A great way to convey the information is to keep points of your presentation to use as a story. This is very important. By using a story, preferably and interesting, when you get your points across in, you are creating moment in the presentation that is very memorable. And it is easier for the audience to recover later because they are listening for a story. Also, it is hopefully going to be something which catches their attention. You can present the story with commitment and it has to be true. Because you always have to be honest with your audience. And also, a special point you have to remember while presenting your story is that remember that your story should not be overloaded with details and it must be brief and relevant to the point. So, it is better to do your presentation as a story, like within a story, because we remember stories better. Alright, now let's move to the third factor, be congruent. What does this be congruent means? It means you should be relatable. One of the most important factor of your delivery is that you want to be someone your audience can be relate. They would feel comfortable to talk with you. Even when giving a talk as an expert on the topic, you want the audience to feel the relation. It helps them mentally engage with your content. And no one wants to listen to someone with no confidence. So this is the way that how you can balance it. The most important thing that you can do to come across this more relatable is to be authentic, be yourself. Another great way to accomplish this is to work and coming relaxed, which can be very difficult if you are not used to presenting, but this goes a long way to helping people to see you as relatable. The final way you can be more relatable is to be enthusiastic about your presentation. Your enthusiasm will transfer to your audience and you'll be more relatable. And also that people attracted to authenticity. The more of you that shows up when speaks, the more people will be attracted to you. Right, so the fourth factor is asking more rhetorical questions. What does this rhetorical question means? It is like this. Instead of just talking at your audience, you want to create a feeling of a discussion. You can ask what they call rhetorical questions that you don't need anybody to answer. You just ask the question and they think about it during your pause. So, or you can actually ask them to respond, but make sure you ask them a nice and easy something light. At this point, all they have to do is maybe raise their hands or shout out or one or two word response, nothing too complicated. You want to keep it nice and easy. Use an open-ended questions also helps to create a knowledge gap. Right, so the factor number 5 is to use visuals. Another great idea to keep the audience by my side is to use visuals like charts, graphs, and infographics as I show in this slide to illustrate and communicate a concept. As many as 65% of people are considered to be visual learners. Using visuals has a much more powerful impact on the audience, as a single image can convey so much information. That's why there is a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. If you are able to visualize the data for your audience with a graphic chart, you instantly make it much and more understandable and memorable. Showing 200 of growth with a graph is much more exciting than explaining it with the raw data, isn't it? So that's why I'm telling that using visual is a very important factor to attract your audience to listen to your presentation. So now let's move to the sixth point. Alright, so the sixth point is real object as a prop. What does this mean? Using a real object, some kind of prop, instead of just simplifying the PowerPoint slides. So I will tell you an example. If you have ever flown on a plane, you know this when the flight attendant is demonstrating how to buckle the seat belts, they use the actual object which is much more interesting to look at. Then let's say that little pamphlet they put about the seat belts in the seat pocket in front of you. I never look at that pamphlet, but I look at the person with the object, and I always find a little interesting how they handle that seat belt because it's a real object. So it is significant that using a real object as a prop is much more interesting and realistic than using just a simple image. So, number 7 is invite a volunteer. Normally, we do this even while teaching in our classes too. So, ask a volunteer from your audience to come up on the platform or the stage up to the front and do something with you, demonstrate something with you. It's very important. Why? Because when this happens, when you bring a volunteer up, is that the other listeners put themselves in the volunteer's place, and so they are much more likely to relate to it and they find it much more engaging and entertaining. And also the thing that I feel is when a volunteer is demonstrating with the presenter, the audience is enjoying and engaging this because they can see themselves in the volunteer's place. Alright, so the eighth factor is be dynamic. That means using your body movement. In this stage, this is where you can be the prop. Your physical body can be a way to engage your listeners. So the way you gesture, the way you come alive, the way you move around in your speaking area, you might even go a little bit into your audience like up an aisle for a little bit. So this is very important to attract the audience towards you to listen to your presentation. So this way is more engaging than just standing and still in one place the whole time. But you have to be careful. You don't want to move for no reason. You don't want to pace like you are nervous. You have to move with a purpose when you are moving and while you are speaking. You have to move with a purpose, but when you move with a purpose, it's much more likely to bring people into the interaction, get them much more excited. And also, our movements reset the focus point of the audience. Body gesture force audience to consciously pay attention for sure. Alright, so now I'm going to discuss with you the ninth factor, which is be confident and practice, as I think this is the most significant factor to you to attract your audience to listen to your presentation, because without this confidence and practice, all the other eight factors that we spoke before could be failed, because without the confidence you can't demonstrate with a volunteer, you can't tell a story properly. All the other eight factors that we spoke before, you might fail that if you don't have this factor, the confidence and the practice. So the confidence in what you do is more important in a presentation. Having confidence in everything that you present is very important. But you are not going to develop the confidence you need if you don't practice. And practice a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. The practice is very important. Though confidence helps you to present the presentation naturally and authentically, as you know what you finish presenting and what you are going to do next. The practice is very important. So with the practice and with the confidence, you can explain and tell the stories with the confidence. This all come with practice. And when you are practicing, it is not enough to just sit in front of with your computer and then go through it. It is not practicing. You have to practice in front of other people. Like you can invite some of your friends and present for them and ask for some feedbacks about your presentation from your friends and make the improvement based on their feedbacks. That means because now they were your audience, your friends. So you can ask the feedbacks and you can practice more. You can make the mistakes, you can improve your presentation with based on their feedback. So practice well, get to your words perfect. And that's why there is a saying also that practice makes perfect, and it gives you confidence. So when you have the practice, for sure you will get the confidence, that because that you know that you are practiced well, that you know that what you are going to do. So practice and confidence, it's tagged together. So just practice more and you will have the confidence for sure. Right. So the very last factor that I'm going to share with you today is the smile. The smile is very important when you are presenting to our audience, because the audience attract to friendly people. Smile broadcasts to your audience that you are friendly and approachable. So when you keep your smile in your face throughout your presentation, that they will be relate with you, they will feel like they are having the engagement, the relation with you, that it will make them more comfortable. Meet a great audience we view as approachable and personable. The smile is a very important factor. Though you had all the other 9 factors that I said before, the smile is also a very important factor, because this audience should be very comfortable with you to listen to your presentation. If you want them to attract to your presentation, you should be relate with them. You should have that factor that which makes you and the audience to make more closer to you, then only they will listen to you. So the smile is very important, and the tip I have to give you is always keep your smile on face, keep it natural, then you don't have to think about that. It will make your presentation very perfect and very comfortable for the audience to listen. And I think that all these 10 tips will help you to attract your listeners to your presentation. So, with a smile, now let's just quickly revise all the 10 factors that I just discussed with you to attract your audience to listen to your presentation. So, knowing your audience, telling a story, be congruent, rhetorical questions, using visuals, using a real object as a prop, inviting volunteers, being dynamic, confidence and practice and smile will help you to attract the audience to listen to your presentation. So, thank you very much for engaging with me today to listening to my presentation. I think that this might will be a great help for you to have a great presentation in front of an audience and to them to attract to your presentation. So, thank you very much and have a nice day.